Hey everyone, welcome to a new lesson. So, in the previous lesson, we created all the rigging that we needed from Ubik, and it was a really long lesson because we need to do a lot of things to create the rigging for a character. But now that we are all done with that, we will have only the controllers here on the timeline. Remember that if we click here, we can see the rest of the layers, but we don't need them right now, so we only have to keep the controllers. So you may notice that my timeline is pretty short and it's lasting exactly 1 second and 10 frames, and that's the exact amount of time that I need to create a perfect loop just like this. This is a 1 second and 10 frames animation that is looping forever. The idea here is to make this final frame the same frame as this first frame, so that way we will have an endless loop. Now, remember that I told you that it was a nice idea to watch some videos before jumping into the animation part. So we have here the video that I showed you previously, and you can see how these guys manage the normal walking cycle, this generic cycle. You can see it's a normal walking, just like we all would do. The arms go a little to the front and then to the back, and the legs just a normal walking. It's really simple to get, but it's nice to watch this before jumping into the animation so that you can see how if what you are going to create is going to be true to what is uh, to how the walking cycle looks on real life, because I know that it's an animation and it's a cartoon and it's supposed to be different from the real life, but we can still add some realism to the walking cycle so that it looks like a real walking cycle. So it's nice to watch this video. I can share this video with you, I think, so that you can use it as your own reference. And that's it. We are ready to jump to the animation part right now. So let's begin with the legs, which is probably the easiest part to animate, and then we can go with the body. So let's begin with the foot. I have here all my controllers. We have foot 2 and foot 1. Foot 1 is the left and foot 2 is the right. So we can open here with the first foot, which is the left one. Let's open the position, and now we're going to take this position and we're going to click on the stopwatch to create a keyframe, of course. Now we're going to need only 5 frames to create a nice animation for the leg, so I'm going to spread those keyframes from 10 to 10. So here is the frame 0, of course, and it's with this position, and I'm going to change this position to something like this. The leg will be like behind, like going to the back of the character, like this. And now I'm going to move 10 frames, and I'm going to change the position to something like this. You can see how the leg is bending in a nice way because we created the puppet pins, we created the bones, we created the structure and the controller, because otherwise this animation would go completely different. So I'm going to set the position to something like this, where he is bending, like lifting the leg to walk, just a regular walking, just like we all walk. Now move 10 more frames, and now the next position will be, we can copy this first frame and change the position to somewhere around here to the front. So for now we have this, and now move 10 more frames, and this next position should be like this, like it's a completely straight position. And now the final position, move 10 more frames. Remember that the last keyframe should be the same as the first keyframe, because this way we will have an endless loop, because the last keyframe is the same first keyframe. So it will go around here, and then we'll go back to this position, which is the same first position, and that is creating an endless loop. Alright, if you want, you can, or you should, grab all these keyframes, go to Keyframe Assistant, and turn them into Easy Ease keyframes. So now the animation is a little smoother. Now this is good. We may fix some things. For example, I think, now that I see it, I think this position, this keyframe is unnecessary because it's going to walk like this. So I think like this is good. Alright, now let's work with the other foot. We're going to create also a keyframe for the first position. And for this first position, the leg will be all the way to the front, just like this. Make this an Easy Ease keyframe, move 10 frames. This will be the position, 10 more frames. This foot goes to the back, so now the legs are crossing. 10 frames later, this leg is all the way to here. And for the final keyframe, the same as the first one. So you will have this. Now again, we can delete this keyframe. It's completely unnecessary. And we will have this. Let's see how it looks. Alright, we're on the right track. That's enough with the foot. So now we can animate a little of the body. We're going to open the position for the body. And we're going to set the position with a keyframe. And we're going to place a keyframe here too. And for the first keyframe, we're going to move the body up a little bit. So we're going to create like a little jump on this point. So 10 frames later, we repeat the same. Then we repeat this one, and the last keyframe should be the first one. So we will have something like this. Alright, make all of these keyframes Easy Ease. And we're all good. Alright, now it's time to animate the arms, which of course are really important. Let's begin with this hand, the first hand. Open up the position. And in this case, we need less keyframes. Let's click here on the stopwatch for the position and change the position to something like this. Like he's walking already. Now move to exactly the middle of the timeline and change the position to somewhere around this point, like this. And then the last keyframe, remember, is always going to be the same first keyframe. Now let's see how this looks. Okay, let's turn this into Easy Ease keyframes. And now I'm going to move here to frame 15, and I'm going to create a keyframe here, and this last frame I'm going to move it a little bit far to the left, something like this, and I can close them up a little bit so I can create this animation, maybe a little less. You can see that now the arm is like, the movement is faster when he drops the arms, so that's more natural. Alright, now we're done with this arm. Open the back arm, and if this arm goes to the front, this should be going to the back. So let's click here. You can solo it if you want, but it's not necessary actually. Just take the arm a little to the left, and then in this frame it should go here like this, and repeat the first frame. Always make sure that they are all easy ease. And we have this animation. Now when this arm arrives, I'm going to create another keyframe here where the arm drops a little, so that this animation is faster, but maybe not so much. So we can move this arm to this point and make this a little to the right to have something like this. Now let's see how this looks. Alright, we're looking good. Now we just need to add one more effect, and we're going to open the shoulders and neck. We're going to open the rotation for the shoulders and neck, and we're going to change the rotation to 8 on the first keyframe, and we're going to click here and make it easy ease, and then on the middle we're going to set the rotation to 0, and the final one repeats the first one. So we're going to have something like this. Let's see how this looks. And we have our first walk, just a regular walk, a normal guy walking. He's probably whistling, and he's happy walking on the street, and everything looks pretty normal. So that's how you animate a real character on After Effects. Of course, the animation will depend on the type of character, how complicated the character is, how many parts of the body it has, and everything. But this is basically the way that you can animate a basic simple character on After Effects. Now there's one final thing that we can do to finish this, and we're going to click here to check out our other layers, and we're going to animate this shadow. We're going to open the scale, take it a little bit to the left, and we're going to click here on the stopwatch. Then here on the middle it's going to be much lower like this, and then go back to 100%. So we will have this. Now if you see the whole animation, now with the shadow it makes a lot more sense. Alright, we're done with the first walking, the normal walking. Now it's time to go for the zombie walking. See you in the next lesson.